Say bless, say bless, say bless. Yeah!
Welcome to Global Wealth TV Show.
Good morning and welcome to Global Wealth Now. As always, we are glad you invited us into your homes. Happy Sunday to all. I am Renee Ross Bowers and my co-host is Pastor Dennis Hill of Lamb of God Ministries. And today we have a special co-host, Sharon Stelle. Miss Stelle is a native of Detroit, Michigan. Sharon has taken on an assignment for Metropolitan Detroit to help bring awareness and prevention with a solution. Now, you know, if there's a problem, you've always got to have a solution to all of the female wounds with cherished products and her own business designed to provide V-Stream with a holistic approach to the womb of destiny, healing, and holistic center. Per Miss Stelle, she always says, you heal a wound, you will heal a heart, which will heal a nation. Amen. Amen. As you know, we always bring topics of interest. Today we have a special guest who ran a drug empire in the 80s. Grossing $3 million a day. I had to practice saying that because that's a huge, huge, huge figure. He is a community activist, philanthropist, author, motivational speaker, teacher, and I heard sometimes a comedian. He is none other than the original Freeway Rick Ross. How are you, Mr. Ross?
I'm well. How are you?
Great, great. You know what, Mr. Ross? My husband and I went to several bookstores, and we just mentioned that, before the show started. We went to several bookstores searching for your book, Freeway Rick Ross, the autobiography. But we were told the book flies off the shelf. And one bookstore told us that they had one left in the warehouse, but the warehouse was in another state. So we were searching all around, and thanks to our co-host today, Sharon, she was able to get one for us. And trust me, we want that autograph before you leave.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
You know what, Rick? Is it all right if I call you Rick?
You can call me Rick.
Okay, Rick, tell us about this book here. Freeway Rick Ross, The Untold Autobiography.
Well, that book came about when I was in prison, and I was just analyzing my life. I wanted to know how did I get in the position that I was in. I didn't know how I got there.
Okay.
It's like one day you wake up and you're sitting in prison and you're like, what happened? How did I get in this position? And I started to go back over my life to analyze what turn I made.
Yes.
To wind up.
That got you there.
Where I was at.
Right.
Because it was a turn I made. Somewhere down the line, I did something that got me there. I just didn't, one day pop up there, with some events that had took place. And I started to go back over my life. And during that time was during the time they was getting ready to execute Tookie Williams.
Okay.
And, Tookie is one of the founders of the Crips. And he wrote a book about the Crips and the Bloods. And then it came to me, it was like, why nobody wrote a book about drugs? The real drug business of what really happens in it and how you wind up where I'm at.
Right,
yes.
Right, okay.
How did I get here? So I started to go back over my tracks and the book came about, and after I thought about it, I started to say, well, you know what? This book could help somebody.
Yes.
You know, somebody who, like me, when I got into the drug business, one of my big homies introduced me. But he's not the person that really planted the seed in my mind to become a drug dealer. It was a movie called Superfly.
Uh-huh.
And what I found out is that movie had planted a seed in my mind that it was okay to be a drug dealer. So when my big homie, as we call him,
Uh-huh.
called me to his house that day and he introduced me, the concept in my mind was already okay with it. Getting involved. Because I never saw drugs before. Before that day, I never held a joint. I never drunk a beer. I never had alcohol. I was a virgin to that type of stuff. So this was my introduction.
But you know what, Rick, I think that movie Superfly started a lot of people off into that direction, because the young people of yesterday, when that movie came out, they didn't have anyone to look at but Superfly, because they were living the life that they wanted to live. You know, a lot of the young people. But tell us, what were some of the key points? Because we need to share that with our young people to let them know there are better choices in life.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I guess my first key point, you know, Bishop Noel Jones, he did my foreword, and when he wrote that foreword, he read the book, you know, prior to the book coming out, so he could do the foreword. And one of the things that he said in the foreword was that I didn't care what people thought about me. I didn't care what they thought about how I looked, how I dressed. I stayed very low key in my dress. You know, I didn't change. When I started having money, I didn't change my dress attire. I didn't go out and buy the latest tennis shoes, the latest cars, the latest jewelry. I stayed the same way that I was, even though my money had started to accumulate. I didn't change my dress code, and I know that the reason that my money started to accumulate is because I wasn't spending my money foolishly. I wasn't giving my money away. I saved my money because what I realized is that my money brought me more opportunities. Say, for instance, when you have money in your pocket, people are more amped to do business with you. You know, if you go in and you want to do business with somebody and you don't have anything going on, then they don't want to do business with you.
Right.
You know, they don't know if they can trust you. But if you go in and you say, oh, I got $10,000 to start with, you're going to get their attention. You put $10,000 on the table, you get their attention. And what I found out is that in the drug business, my money bought me discounts. So that I could go and buy drugs from this guy for a certain price, and I could take it back to my neighborhood and sell it to my guys at a higher price than what I paid for it. Mm-hmm. And I just found this out a couple weeks ago. That's the manipulation of money. That's taking money and manipulating it. And basically what I did in the drug business is I was no more than a money manipulator and a drug manipulator. Where I didn't make the drugs, I didn't bring the drugs into this country. I found a way to get in the middle of two people and push them out back so that I could get a bigger slice of the middle. And that's basically what I did. And I tried to explain this into my book about how that's done and how we as a people can do that. Then, while I was sitting in prison, you know, I was saying, oh, well, you were nothing but a drug dealer. What you did was nothing special. Until other guys inside the prison started to come up to me and say, well, you know, I never made $5,000 selling drugs. And I was like, you never made $5,000 selling drugs? And then it popped in my head, well, the only reason you didn't make $5,000 because nobody never taught you the correct way to sell drugs. So then it popped in my mind that what I was doing was special or could be special. And I thought that, wow, we know that in the drug business it can be taught, because I taught my guys how to become millionaires. And that's really how I became so wealthy, because I was able to teach so many other guys what I was doing. So then I was like, well, I wonder if this can be taught for business.
Right.
You know, can you use this for business? So I was totally illiterate when I went to jail.
But, you know, let's just back up a little bit. You were born in the South.
Texas.
In Texas, right, in Texas. And at an early age, you and your mom moved to California. Tell us, what was it like? How did you feel leaving Texas at an early age, moving to Los Angeles, where they had a lot of gangs? You mentioned the Crips. And tell us, how did that feel, making that move and avoiding the gangs?
Well, you know, first of all, when my mom got ready to move to California, I didn't want to move. You know, I was happy where I was at, you know, with our little home and our little dog Poochie and my brother.
Okay.
I was perfectly happy with staying right there as long as I was with my mom.
Right.
I didn't care. When she moved to California, we moved in with one of her sisters, and I was happy with that as well.
Okay.
And at that young age, I didn't really understand the gangs. It was, I started to understand the gangs was about 11 or 12 years old. And that was during the time that I wanted to be a Crip.
Oh, you wanted to be a Crip.
Oh, absolutely, I wanted to be a Crip. But my mom wouldn't have it.
I know. I know.
She wasn't having it. So I didn't get a chance to gangbang. I got lucky around 12 years old. They put a tennis racket in my hand.
Okay.
The tennis racket kept me out of the gangs when I got older, because now I'm in love with tennis. So I spent most of my time away from South Central LA on the tennis court, chasing a tennis ball, hoping to become a professional tennis player. At that time, my goal was to get out of the ghetto.
And tennis was at Avenue.
It kept me out.
Right. Okay.
After it was time for me to graduate from high school, it was discovered that I couldn't read or write.
Okay, and who was that discovered it? One of your teachers?
One of the teachers.
Okay.
So once it was discovered that I couldn't read or write, it became clear that I wasn't going to college to play tennis. So I found myself back in South Central LA, and that's when I got involved with the drugs.
Okay. Well, when did you learn how to start reading and write?
While I was in prison.
Oh, amen to that.
Oh, yeah.
Amen to that. But you said you played tennis, so then you were an all-city tennis star.
Yeah,
and you were on the route to getting that scholarship to college.
Yes.
To college, and then all of a sudden, this teacher discovers you can't read and write.
Correct.
I know you had to be devastated.
Was devastated.
I know you, because that was your ticket.
That was my ticket out.
That was your ticket out. But did you drop out of school at that time, or did you go on?
I did. I dropped out of school right after the tennis season ended in high school. I stopped going to school at all. I didn't even attend school no more. Before that, I was going to class every day.
Okay.
But I would just go in the classroom and go in the back and put my head down and wouldn't make a fuss in the class. And the teachers just, when it was time to give me a grade, the tennis coach would go in and say, "Oh, we need him eligible," and they would give me a C so I could play. So I'd be eligible.
Just so you can, and you know, I hate to say it, but that happens today.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Sharon and Pastor, that
Yes.
happens today. And Rick, I'm a retired educator from the school system here. But trust me, my students had to work.
Yeah.
You know, they had to earn that grade. But did you do anything else, besides the drugs after you, quit school in order to make some money?
I started off stealing cars.
Stealing cars?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you stole the cars and what you do?
Well, I started off as a driver. The older guys, when I first come back to the neighborhood, I'm down on my luck. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Tennis is not my option anymore, so I started hanging out with the lowriders, the guys with the cars that go up and down.
Is that when you got that station wagon? I heard the station wagon with the wood grain.
No,
on
that
it or
was later.
something?
That was later. I had a '66 Chevy eventually. I bought a '66 Chevy for $100, and I was fixing it up. I went from being a driver to when the guys who I was driving for, they wound up going to jail, and then I took over their business, and I started my own chop shop and so forth.
Okay. Now, what made you leave the game, the drug game?
Well, I found myself being a hypocrite. You know, I was, on one hand, I would tell the guys to not sell to my girlfriend or my brother or my sister or my aunties or my uncles, and then I was selling to everybody's aunties, brothers, sisters, mothers, and I felt that I was being hypocritical. So, I mean, how could you stop other people from selling to your family when you're selling to everybody's family? And I looked at it that the only reason I was doing that is because I had the power to do it, and that if somebody else had the power to stop me, then they would have did it.
Right,
So,
right.
So I just felt hypocritical, and I didn't want to be a hypocrite. To know that I'm doing something wrong to other people, and to continue to do it even though that I knew it was wrong. And I had stopped feeling about cocaine like I did when I first started. You know, when I first started, I felt like Superfly. You know, I'm like, yeah, Superfly is the man. You know?
Yes, he
That's
was the
my-
man
that's
back
my
then.
Homie. That's where I want to be, and I wasn't feeling that same way anymore. You know, I was feeling more that I was taking advantage of people who were weaker, people who couldn't control their addiction, and even with them using drugs, it started to affect their kids and other people in their family, and who absolutely had no involvement in it at all were starting to be affected. You know, so that gave me the strength to eventually walk away from the business. About 1.5 years, 2 years before I ever got arrested.
Okay. Well, you know, Rick, I have a lot of questions, but at this time, I'm going to let Sharon ask you a couple of questions. All right?
No problem.
Okay.
That's what I come here for.
Well, first of all, it's an honor to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you,
We're
too.
already talking on the phone, right? Put a face with a voice.
Yes,
You know, so just asking, the book is amazing, and what really caught me, because I asked my nephews, and, you know, they always, for this millennium, always want to attach themselves to things that they think they really want to be cool, but they're not, you know.
Nah.
I'm like, you wasn't even raised in that lifestyle, but they just want to attach themselves. The thing that really, with the book, is where is the controversy coming from the rapper Rick Ross and you being the original Rick Ross? Now, this word freeway, for some reason, as an educator, I can't flow that together, but so we just gonna stick with Rick Ross for me. So
That's
what is
fine.
what is the controversy? Is there a controversy? It may not be one, but is there a controversy?
Not with me. I sued him in Universal. I sued his record label, and I sued both of the record labels that he worked for, and I sued him because I felt that they had used my name inappropriately. They had put my name on their product, and he was calling himself me, and I thought that I should get paid for that, and I sued him. You know, I lost the
I know
lawsuit.
you did.
But at the same time, that's what I felt was supposed to happen, and that's what I did. After that, I was through with it. I offered to sit down with him and talk to him, and even to maybe we could work together, you know, to help the betterment of our children. But he declined, and, you know, he went on the radio and said some slick stuff, you know, that I was begging to get with him, and, you know, I blew my opportunity, you know, as if I was going to be who I am, you know, without his help. But I usually don't even talk about him, you know. My goals are much bigger than he is. My goal and plight right now is to uplift the black community. When I was sitting in prison, you know, I did a lot of thinking, and when I looked out my little window, and I was saying, what can you do for the black community? What can you do to help them? You know, after the devastation that has been caused, and what came to me is that I can teach them economics. You know, I can teach them how to take the little money. You know, I started with $125. I mean, who can't get $125? And I believe that you can do this with not only drugs, but with any other product that's out there. So,
Rick, just 1 minute. You took $125
And started an empire.
and took that to $3 million a day.
yes.
Listen here, families. Listen to what he's saying, because he's going to tell you how we can turn these young people around. He's been there. But he's going to show you how they can go in the other direction. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No,
I
you
just had
good,
to
you
say
good,
that.
and that's a good point. And I believe that we can do this with any business. When I got out of prison, I had $200, and right now, you know, my book, I've sold over 34,000 copies of my book. I had a trucking company. I used to sell hair. I got my T-shirts that I do. I got my clothing line that's coming out. My movie is financed because it's just, like I said earlier, I just found out a couple weeks ago watching this video about the way this system is set up. It's the manipulation of money. You know, you have to hold on to some money in order to improve yourself economically. You can't try to improve yourself economically without having some type of seed money to get started with.
And with that being said, which you guys probably don't know, you have partnered with us in the Now We Know campaign.
Yes.
So-
Oh, all right, all
So,
right.
What I'd like to know is your relationship with the champ, the face, the one that everyone knows. That video went viral. So how did you two guys meet? I mean, how did you? Because we know our mean story. We know that he, you know, did 21 years. We know that he did
That's
two
my
life
man.
sentences.
That's my man.
So me being him is like he said, I'm his sister, not biologically, but we had that bond because, like he said in 313, if you want to be taken care of, come see me. And as you know, I tried to take care of you before you got here.
Yeah, no
So
doubt, no doubt.
how do you feel about the campaign with the Now We Know?
You know, before you answer that, Rick, audience, remember last week our guest was Khadijah, and then it was Pastor and myself. We talked about Cherish. We talked about the Now We Know campaign. Not only that, we did a live demonstration. So that's what Sharon is saying, that Rick has partnered with us, and I am so happy to hear that. All right, yes, okay.
So how do you feel about the campaign of awareness for women all over? Actually, it's just all over the globe. It's
Well, I
just
was
not-
amazed when I saw the demonstration. It just so happened we were in Philly the other day together at the same time. I saw the video, you know, when I'm doing the demo live, and I didn't really understand the importance of it until after he sat down and explained to me the importance of the tampon. You know, what it'll do for you.
Mm-hmm.
And once I saw the demo, and I did it myself, you know, I took my hand and I
Yeah, I seen
squeezed
that
the
one.
first one, and I saw how the water came out of it, and then when I did his, no water came out of it, if any. I don't think no water came out of it. So I was amazed, and even then, I still didn't really understand what that meant. You know, I didn't understand that meant when a woman gets wet, that moisture would come out and get on her clothes or whatever. I still didn't really understand that until after I sit back and I did some thinking about it. So I was amazed.
So I'm just glad to have you aboard. So, did you want to say anything else, Renee, about concerning the campaign? Or?
No, but I did want to go in and ask a few more questions. But audience, if you are in the need of prayer, or you like our show, or you enjoyed our guest today, we want to hear from you. We have a new number, and that number is 313-657-5556, or you can email us at GWEALTHS111@gmail.com. But Pastor, I know you have a few questions.
Yes, I listened to Mr. Ross, and he was saying some good things about marketing, and that's how you make it in this global world, through marketing.
No doubt.
And having a good product out there that's going to, work for you.
No doubt.
So
Makes it easy when you got a good product.
Yes, sir. So he know about marketing and marketing products.
Yeah, I studied marketing while I was in jail. I read over 14 books on marketing. So I do really well on marketing. I mean, when you go to my social media, you'll see how well I market myself and and my book, you know.
Yes, sir. So that's what I think some of young people need to know.
Oh, definitely. They definitely need to know about marketing. And I think we as black people, though, we more so got to start protecting our money.
That's it.
You know,
Yes.
because one of the things that I see that we do as a people is we give a lot of our valuables away. You know, we give our votes away, we give our money away. So we have to start protecting things that are valuable and that other people need from us, and don't just give them to other people. We have to make other people earn them.
That's right, because they said we the biggest
Consumers.
We
Exactly.
spend more money than any other.
Well, you know,
ethnic group.
they said we make $1 trillion a year as a people, and that's a lot of money. And with that kind of money, nobody in our community should not have a job and housing and everything else they need if that money is directed in the right position.
So you think that we should be more knitted together, more and work together?
Absolutely, you have to have both of them. You have to we have to become more of a community. We have to support each other. You know, because a lot of people won't even buy from us.
Right.
If we have a product, they won't even buy our product, but they'll sell us their products because they figured out how to get the money out of our community. And what we have to do is we have to figure out how to bring the money back into our community and figure out how not to let it come out of the community.
That's right, 'cause I heard about some people, they study us and see what we like.
Oh, all of
You
them
know,
study us.
You know, some of them, you know, they cooking fish and chicken, all the
they
stuff
get
we
our
like to
recipes.
eat.
Well, even with the hair, I mean, if you read about the hair products, you know, most of these are black companies.
That's right.
But what happened is when they came over, when the Koreans came over, they took money that they got from their country and borrowed money from here and went and bought these companies, these black-owned companies. And now, since they bought them, we can't even buy the product from them because they won't sell to us at a wholesale price.
Right. Now they are in control.
Absolutely.
They are in control.
So we have to buy the product as a consumer and not as a distributor or so forth.
Right.
Also, don't forget, they can go to my website and get my book, freewayRickyRoss.com. Go to my website and buy the book. Don't go to Amazon unless you have to.
That's right. Hey,
Okay.
support our brother.
Yes. Let me get the money. Don't give it to
Support
Amazon.
our brother from another mother.
And I gotta sell 100,000 books. I got a new book that's already done as well, and it's called Riding with Rick. And this book is going to detail my first 6 months out of prison, and it's going to show about the principles that I talk about in this book. It's going to show me working those principles on the street, and you'll get to see those principles being worked every single day in action. I didn't write this book. Cody Crutcher wrote it, a guy in New York who owned a magazine called Get Money, but he's told me a few stories. I can't even read the book until I sell 100,000 books. I'm punishing myself. You can't read the book until I do 100,000. Nobody can read the book until I do 100,000. So help me do this 100,000 books, and let's lift up our community. Because once I do 100,000 books, I'm going to be able to help my community.
All right.
Right.
All right. You heard that, audience. We've got to help Rick Ross to get to 100,000 books, and we can do it. We can do it. But, you know, if I could just quote Snoop Dogg, he said, you made sure everybody had an income and resources to get it. You also made sure that people fed their families. Snoop called you the ghetto superstar. And let me tell you, he is still working with families. He is still working with families. We've got to make sure we get those 100,000 books for them. We've got to dig in our pockets and get them. And to our audience, we appreciate each and every one of you. And Mr. Ross, it has been an honor and a privilege to have you on our show today.
Yeah.
Trust me, it has. And you must come back. We only got a half an hour. But when you're back in Detroit, you got to promise you're going to come back and see us.
I'll be back. I think they're going to have me a birthday party here.
Okay, all right. Are we all invited?
Absolutely.
Okay, you heard that, audience. We're all invited. But again, audience, we appreciate each and every one of you. We look forward to being in your home next Sunday, same time, same station. And remember, God loves you and we do too.
Say bless, say bless, say bless. Yeah!
Global Wealth TV Show.
What's up, everybody? This is your girl, Vicki Winans, and you're watching Bell Global Network.
My name is Mike Duggan, and I'm watching the Bell Global Network.
Hey, keep it locked. It's your boy D. Hattie watching the Bell Global Network. You know how it is.
Hi, I'm Charlie Langton, and you're watching the Bell Global Network.
Hi, this is Martha Reeves, and you're watching Bell Global Network.
Hi, I'm Clifton Davis, and you're watching Bell Global Network.
Hi, everybody. I'm telling you, everything that happened to me that was good, God did it. I'm Evelyn Turrentine, AG, and you're watching the Bell Global Network.
This is Pastor D. Alexander Bullock of Preachers of Detroit, and you're watching the Bell Global Network.
This is Bishop Edgar Van of Second Ebenezer Church in Detroit, Michigan, and you're watching the Bell Global Network.
Hi, I'm Bernadette Stanis. You know me best as Thelma from the TV show Good Times, and you are watching Bell Global Network.